Hey guys, Tony here, and really quick, I wanted to make a video, just kind of a response video to Bigstar1000's 90's thread. I'm just gonna ask again that you bear with me. I'm coming off of a couple of really rough days. Yesterday, I worked a 17-hour day. I was at work till 1 o'clock in the morning, a little after 1 o'clock, and didn't get home till like 2, and then had to go to work this morning till 8 o'clock. So, I'm pretty tired, but I wanted to answer this as soon as possible. I have my records picked out. The idea, of course, is to pick a record from each year of the 90's from your collection. And in a couple cases, I have more than one, just because there were certain things I couldn't leave out. And also, yeah, the 90's are a tough time for vinyl because it really wasn't being sold much, especially in the States. I think in over in Europe, in the UK, sales kind of remained, but in the US, it was just kind of taken out of the stores basically, and everything was put in the bargain bins and all that. So with things being reissued, it's cool, and I actually have a couple really cool 90's records on the way. But yeah, so what I have are basically, I mean, more mainstream stuff, you know, kind of common stuff, if you will. But I'm going to just start showing you real quick, and I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. If you can't tell, I'm just exhausted. So, for 1990, I have two, and two very important records, I think, especially for what was coming, I would say. So, let's start with Sonic Youth's Goo, and this is 4 LP reissued set, and a classic record from 1990. Of course, I think everybody probably knows Dirty Boots, but also, you know, My Friend Goo, Cool Thing, Merry Christ, you know, just a classic album all the way through, and really happy to have this. Great album. And of course, I could not mention 1990 without mentioning one of my favorite records, Neil Young, Crazy Horse, Ragged Glory. I gotta say, Neil was definitely ahead of the curve on this. He came out of the 80's with a lot of strange records. I mean, he came back with Freedom before this, but Freedom, while it's a fantastic record, it didn't match how this album is, especially. It seemed like, you know, Neil and the times kind of, you know, once again, it all came around and into, you know, kind of eclipsed, you know, and so Neil was actually doing what was kind of popular, and classic record, really. A lot of feedback on here, and you know, definitely a grunge record. So, and that was before this album broke in 1991. And of course, I had to show it. It goes without saying, Nirvana's Nevermind. And again, besides the fact that this is just a you know, socially, culturally, very, very important record, musically a very important record, this is a huge record for me, and it remains so. I mean, I love this record. You got to put it in its, you know, historical context here. Nothing. I mean, I'm not going to say that there wasn't stuff being made like this at the time, but I think, I mean, if you listen to the Pixies and, you know, other, you know, 80's, you know, punk bands, other Seattle bands even, I mean, there was stuff like this being made, but I think the brilliance in this record is its simplicity, in that you take all that, you know, underground punk kind of sound and feel, and kind of mix it with the simplicity and pop of the Beatles, and that's what made this album so accessible for everybody. And it changed music. I mean, really, it totally, what this album did, especially too, and say what you will about this, but it opened a lot of people's eyes to the marketing potential of this Generation X, if you will, and you know, every kind of, you know, industry took notice, the music industry especially, and they, you know, just totally broke down the wall for all the stuff that came after. But you know, everything, fashion, you name it. A very, very important record from 1991. From 1992 again, another indie rock classic, Pavement, Slanted and Enchanted. released in 1992. Classic record. Just a glorious, glorious record. Love this one. Unfortunately, I didn't get into Pavement until more recently, but still a fantastic record. Had to be shown. And there were other kind of rumblings going on in Seattle other than the grunge, underground, indie kind of stuff. Well, I guess you'd call this underground, but definitely was not grunge or indie. Earth 2, Dylan Carlson, of course. Classic record. Beginnings of the drone metal, and just an awesome, awesome record. Takes a little getting used to, but once you do, it's fantastic, and definitely deserves to be shown. So I'm gonna move away from the whole indie kind of music and into more progressive rock, maybe with a bit of Pink Floyd, The Division Bell, and again, David Gilmour led Pink Floyd. I think The Division Bell is definitely a step up from A Momentary Lapse of Reason, and a classic record from 1994, and I think definitely deserves to be shown here. And another one, indie rock classic again, Viva Las Blues by Palace Music, or Will Oldham, or Bonnie Prince Billy, produced by or recorded by Steve Albini. Classic record. From 1995. For 1996, I went for another Neil Young record, an important album to me, in that this is the album that came out while I was getting into him, and I saw this tour twice, and it was fantastic. Love this album. A lot of people probably wouldn't call this one of his best, but holds a very sentimental place for me, and they really stretch out on this and kind of do what they do best on here. So, very cool. From 1996. So for 1997, 3 masterpieces really, and they all deserve to be shown. So I picked 3, and I'm just gonna show them. Spiritualized, Ladies and Gentlemen, We Are Floating in Space. Again from 1997. Awesome record. Awesome concept album really, and Out of the Ruins of Spacemen 3. Awesome stuff. Also from 1997, Yo La Tangos, I Can Feel the Heartbeat is one. Awesome, awesome album again. Moby Octopad, Autumn Sweater, but the whole album is killer and fantastic stuff. And of course you can't mention 1997 without mentioning OK Computer by Radiohead. Again, 3 masterpieces here, really. Very ambitious, great stuff. Alright, so for 1998, had to be represented, and I figured I'd show this one. Pearl Jam's Yield. This record too, I definitely like No Code and, Vitalogy more, but this album also holds a special place for me. Just what was going on in my life then. I was 18 when this came out, and the songs, Given the Fly, Wish List, but the whole thing, Faithful, you couldn't do the Evolution, you couldn't escape it on the radio, and really happy to get this. I don't know what this goes for now, but I bought it for like $10. Still has the stickers in it as well. Oops. The Pearl Jam sticker that goes with it. So yeah, just happy to have that in my collection. The die cut cover. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, alright, I paid $12.71. Look at that, I still have the receipt. $12.71. I wonder what this goes for now. And I didn't buy this when it came out. It was definitely a few years later. But then, at that time, nobody was really buying vinyl. Alright, so moving on. So, 1999 was an insane year for me. Insane. I won't get into it, but yeah, definitely one of the craziest years in my life, and will always be remembered as such. had a good time. But I picked two albums for 1999. Wilco's Summer Teeth. I don't think this album gets enough props. It's a very poppy album, but still classic Wilco. Love this record, really. It's one of those records that, you know, once you know it and everything and you put it on again, it's like, yeah, you know, it's just one of those, it's awesome. So, had to be shown for 1999. And finally, one more for 1999 I felt needed to be shown. Classic record, Tom Waits, Mule Variations. What an album. Just classic album. It's such a grainy, dark kind of record, but it's just brilliant. And yeah, if you don't know this album, check it out. Alright, so that's my response. Fred, hope you liked it. Hope you guys made it through this one. Again, excuse me for being kind of just out of it once again. Leave me some comments. Thanks, guys.